This video is about the mini challenge for the flower dissection, which is an opportunity also to improve your making connections and inferences cognitive skill for this year. You do not need to do this assignment. It's an optional assignment designed as an opportunity to have some fun and do something hands-on that you can do it even from home. And also give an opportunity for students that need to improve this skill. But remember to prioritize working on PFAs for science and other subjects to finish the year strong in that first. But if you have the time, you want to do something hands-on, you want to spend the time with it, please feel free to engage in this. So what you need to do is either complete a virtual flower dissection following the link on the website that's included on the instructions and take snapshots as you go through it to prove that you did so. Paste it in the document, good. Or you can actually get an actual flower and separate its parts carefully using tools like scissors or a forceps, a magnifying glass if you have access to it, all make it easier, but you don't really need those. You can figure it out on your own. Then you paste those parts separately on a piece of paper and maybe even talk about what they do, the actual functions. When you are done, you can put your name and the activity on the top, and it will look something like this. This doesn't have the functions, but you could add that if you want to make it even better. Now, I will give you a hint that the larger flower you use, the easier it is to do it because small flowers have small parts. And so it's really hard to work with if you pick a very, 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 very tiny flower. Now, I included here some diagrams that could be helpful to help you identify the different parts of the flower. The main parts are the petal and the sepals. And then you also have the pistil, which is the female part, and the stem, which is the male part, which also have subparts. Here's another diagram that shows the same thing. And if you're trying to do this for a grade to try to improve your making connections and inferences score, then this is what you have to do. Choose one of the two prompts which are included, then make an inference that tries to explain that prompt, and base your inference on examples, evidence, or facts from things that you can see in the diagram or already know about how flowers work. Then try to connect your examples to each other and make a connection to the general purpose of the flower. If you do that, you're basically done. So this will become more clear as I discuss how I'm actually going to score it. So the first prompt I have for you is, a lot of flowers have both genders within them. What can you infer about the reason why the male and female parts are positioned where they are within the flowers? Typically, you will find a female part in the center and higher up than the male parts, which are going to be around it and lower it inside the petals. Why is that? Why is it like that? So what can you tell by looking at a diagram about the possible reason for that? Or what we already know about the flowers? The second possible prompt, you don't have to do both, pick one, is that there are a lot of kinds of flowers, and there's also lots of types of pollinators. What could you infer about the reason why every plant species tries to have a very unique and specific type of flower? Can you see something in these pictures that might hint at the reason why that's that way? Or do you know something about the way flowers work that might help you? So, how am I going to grade this? If you make an inference and you base that inference on at least one piece of evidence that is related to it, that you can see from the diagram or you already know, you can get a 2. For a 3, you have to have at least 2 pieces of evidence or examples from the images or facts you already know that can actually justify your inference, the reason why you think is the answer for the questions that I posed. You have to also connect those examples to get at least a 3. If you just put them together, you get a 2.5. But if they actually are related to each other somehow in a cohesive paragraph, you can get a 3. For a 4, you have to take a step further. You have to identify the larger importance of the function of the flower, which is satisfied by this. So how does your inferences tell you about what the flower is trying to do as a whole? And how is it that your examples connected to each other help illustrate that? But you do not need to explain the overall function of the flower to get a 4. If you get a 5, if you do that very clearly while also explaining the overall function of the flower that you're trying to infer that is connected to your explanation. And you do so by more than just 2 examples, multiple facts from the diagram or things that you know already about flowers. So that's how I'm going to score, and hopefully that gives you a good idea on what you need to do to score high on this cog skill. Again, remember this is an optional assignment, but I hope you have fun doing it, and I'll see you next week for another challenge. Don't do anything that wouldn't make your mama proud.